my sophomore year, remember? When I was
Sophomore year?
Yeah, because I changed my major from poetry to animal science because I had to work it out. We met.
2 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what can I do for you?
Okay, well, I'm graduating next semester, so I graduate in May of this semester, and so I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track.
Okay.
That everything's going well.
I can do that for you. How long did you think you had before you were going to graduate?
Just next semester, because I graduate next semester, because it's next semester.
Oh, no. No. You have about 18 credits left.
What?
That's like a semester.
No,
But
I
I can
don't.
help you
No, I don't.
schedule it.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't, because I have full-time, like I work full-time, and I can't do anything more than 12 credits, because it's just not going to work out for me, and I know that I'm supposed to graduate next semester. We talked about it.
Well, I can't help you. This is the first time you're seeing me in 2 years, and you want me to change your whole schedule now?
This is crap. This is crap. Like, I go to this institution, I don't get any help, and this is not fair. What did I do wrong?
What did I do wrong?
This is just, I don't know. Like, can anyone tell me what happened? What happened? What went wrong there?
What went wrong?
How rhetorical.
What went wrong?
You haven't seen your advisor in 2 years.
Right.
You assumed that since it was going to be your spring semester of your 4th year, that meant.
Yes, there was no accountability to keep that relationship connected throughout the summer. Yeah.
You got mad at her for not seeing her? Or for seeing you, I mean?
Yeah.
You haven't been checking your degree evaluation?
Yep.
So a lot of this is going on me, right?
Yeah. Well, how about me?
How about anything else?
What did I do wrong? Yeah.
There was a lot of blaming going on there, like blaming for maybe something that was your personal responsibility to, as a like professional leader, you were blaming the student for maybe not having resources or.
Yeah.
Maybe you weren't prepared for the meeting because you were like, who are you? And
Yep.
The way you reacted right away was just like, oh, no. So they just all of a sudden go into panic mode. So
Yep.
I think that's, yeah.
I'm going to do one more.
I think that possibly 2 years ago when you met with her, there might not have been a clear understanding of, okay, you just changed your major. This is what you're going to have to do in order to graduate in the ideal 4 years. If that plan was established 2 years ago, she might have this misconception of, oh, I can still graduate in 4.
Awesome. Yes, so my name is Crystal,
I'm Carly.
and we're going to talk to you guys about academic advising. And before we move into why academic advising helps and matters, we've got to show you this picture because we found it and we thought it was funny. We shared that as we did a skit about how sometimes interactions cannot be so positive. And so we are going to present a little bit about the history of academic advising, a little bit about what academic advisors do, CAS standards, share some reflections from our interviews, and then talk about some of the things we noticed, and then we'll have you guys work on one scenario. And there'll be questions.
All right, so starting off with the history, so it's one of the older ones. We've been talking about some newer functional areas. Academic advising has been gone back to the late 1800s and started at Johns Hopkins and Harvard. And like a lot of student affairs functional areas, it kind of was a reaction to a need. Like all of a sudden, it started off with faculty just having that role, and all of a sudden there's too many students. You need to focus on teaching, research, whatever it may be. So, oh crap, we need to create this department. Academic advising is formed. So historically, the academic advisors really focus on student retention and success. So when it comes to are we graduating students in 4 years, are we getting them out on time, that falls on the shoulders of the academic advisors. And then obviously they work on their caseloads. And then NACADA was established back in 1979. We've already talked about another conference happening right now this weekend in Minneapolis, the annual one. So that just gives you a brief history of academic.
Cool. So what academic advisors do? So one of their main purposes is to really help students connect with their campus community. Sometimes for a student, their academic advisor could be their first liaison or one of their first liaisons to welcome to our school. So it's really important that they help students connect to the campus. Advisors assist with curriculum planning, referring students to campus resources, and like I said, act as a communication liaison. So really thinking about their academic programs of study. So if a student maybe needs to be referred to a different department or different office to get services, they need to be successful doing that. And if there are any sort of policy, college changes that are happening, that goes through the academic advisor as well. Academic advisors work towards building students' learning, growth, empowerment, and self-authorship. So really thinking about, especially the last two, empowerment, self-authorship, so thinking about how can we help students become self-advocates so that instead of maybe coming to us all the time, they can be going and seeking out resources they need on their own. Academic advising looks different at each institution. So depending on the institution's curriculum, the populations of students who go to the school, and the policies, those things can really dictate how academic advising operates and functions, and we're going to talk a little bit about that specifically when we go into our interview reflections. And as we were doing research, we kind of stumbled upon different approaches or different theories behind academic advising. So the skit that we performed kind of was thinking about choice theory and thinking about how you as an academic advisor can be creating positive and fostering good and healthy relationships between yourself and a student. So thinking about listening well and not being defensive and acknowledging differences and how those things can help you build a good relationship with the students you work with. We also read a little bit about developmental advising, so having it not be so much of the advisor kind of has all of the answers, but in supporting the student so the student can find the answers for themselves, so having it be more of a student growth relationship as opposed to a advisor knows and student doesn't know relationship. And then finally, thinking about intrusive advising. So the group before us touched a little bit on like summer bridge programs, and I think this is where I've personally seen this the most, in that there are some programs that will have, you would be working with an advisor over the summer, that advisor would like show up to your dorm room if you don't show up to class, or that advisor will like make sure you're doing your homework. So really like thinking about how advising can be catered towards students who are from traditionally underrepresented populations or students who are traditionally at risk.
So then we also just wanted to pull from the CAS standards and give you guys just a quick overview. So academic advisors are assisting students, again, in self-understanding and accepting. The common misconception is that you can go to your advisor to pick out your classes, and that was, it's about registration. But it's really about working with this student to help them on that development scale. So helping students consider life goals relating to their interests, skills, abilities, and values. Assisting students in developing an educational plan that is consistent with their life goals. Again, it's not about that one-time interaction each semester, but a successful advisor, it should be an ongoing relationship. And then because they're the one person that university knows that you have to meet with, they need to know a lot about the university, not just the curriculum side, but what resources are available to pretty much any type of student could walk through their door. They need to be knowledgeable on all the other functional areas and be able to refer the students to those resources and support services. And then also evaluate student progress towards goals and educational plans. Academic advisors often actually have learning outcomes for their office, which is something that I learned for this project. So that is also in the CAS standards. And then, again, provide student information to institution, college, and academic departments, just reinstates that resource piece.
Great, so we're going to talk a little bit now about each of our 4 interviews. And inside of our handout is like a longer description of like who we talked to, what their background is. But Carly's going to, she's going to start with both of hers, and then I'm going to pass this out and do mine.
Okay, so I started off with Emily Straker-Bear, who is an advisor at St. Thomas. St. Thomas is a little bit unique because 43% of the undergrad students are business majors. So the business school is the only school that has their own advising system, and then the rest of the university has common advisors, which she described as creating a little bit of political tension in working together because they're different funding from different sources, and they kind of butt heads in that way. It's also a unique setup because they're one of very few universities that has a dual advising system, which means that students are required to come to her first. She has a student affairs background. She's kind of a general advisor for students. Her caseload is about 600 students, so you can a picture of that. And then after they meet with her, they also have to meet with a faculty advisor in their specific business major. So once those 2 pieces have been completed, then a third is left with them and able to register for classes. So that was really unique. Something something interesting that she talked about that I had never thought of is the idea of safety in their office. She said oftentimes school shootings, the student will go first to academic advisors because that's the one-on-one relationship that they have, which can be really scary. So they actually have safety and prevention plans in place. She didn't go into detail about what this looked like, but I just thought that was an interesting piece. And then I interviewed Gretchen Walter, who works at Concordia. She is newly appointed Director of Academic Advising, and she also works specifically with the cohort programs, so those adult online programs is kind of her area of advising. She does not have a student affairs background. She actually went to Concordia for undergrad, and then went into admissions and worked in admissions for about 12 years, specifically with that population of students. So we found that, having that background helped her get that position in advising. She knew that area very well. She knew the curriculum, the classes that you had to take, and kind of where that student might be coming from in life. I'll go ahead and let her go ahead.
I interviewed Katie Kramer, who was an academic advisor in the College of Arts and Sciences at Metropolitan State University. And I just thought, I know some of the other groups did interviews with staff at Metro State, but I thought I would just give a little bit of background and talk about how kind of the structure and setup of Metro State affects Katie's job. So Metro State is part of the MNSCU system. It kind of caters to a really unique population of students in that the way that they schedule their classes is more of a block schedule. So they don't do a lot of traditional like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 55-minute classes. So you would have a class from like 9 to noon or 1 to 4 or 6 to 9, which makes it really friendly for students who are working full-time, students who maybe have families, who have other commitments, who can't really commit to the traditional type of college experience that a lot of us are used to. So this really affects the population of students that Katie works with. She actually had a really unique entry into academic advising. She actually attended Metro State, was working towards her doctorate of nursing practice. She got her bachelor's degree in nursing, and was like teaching undergraduate courses in their nursing program, and then realized after a while, I don't really love studying nursing. I don't think I want to be somebody who teaches nursing to students for my life's work. She was mentored by another woman who had a really large advising caseload and asked Katie if she would help her kind of take over some of her students. When that woman retired, Katie took over her position and took all of her students. And so she's been working as an academic advisor and actually didn't even finish her doctorate of nursing practice and went on to get a master's degree in liberal arts at Metro State University. She talked a lot to me about how academic affairs and student affairs, how they don't really mesh very well just overall at Metro State and how that affects her as an advisor. Some of you guys who've maybe been to Metro State's campus can kind of see where it is. It's located right on the edge of downtown and the east side of St. Paul, and just structurally, academic affairs is in one side of the building, and she said student affairs you have to cross the quad, and they're all in this side of the building. So really they have very limited communication just because location-wise they're not similar, they're not near each other. And she said that's kind of affected a lot of the work she's been able to do because she can't always access resources from student affairs for students as easily as she would like to. And she advises primarily students who are traditionally coming to college from a high school